my pleasure to introduce our special guest today, Brittany Wiedemann. Brittany is an information systems analyst at Bozeman Health and is the IT admin lead for the Infor Finance and Supply Management ERP solution, as well as Infor Birst Analytics. Brittany is a solutions-oriented leader with experience guiding teams through ERP implementation and advanced data analysis with a specific focus on process improvement within the healthcare industry. Thanks for being with us today, Brittany.
Thanks, Brad. Thanks for having me. Hello, everyone.
Well, thank you. Oh, sorry. I was just going to say your audio seems to be just a little bit low. I don't know if you can boost up your audio a little bit.
Well, let's try here. Is that any better? I'll just talk louder. How about that?
We'll just talk loud. That sounds good. So, Brittany, can you maybe tell us a little bit about Bozeman Health and your role in the organization?
Yeah, Bozeman Health has been rapidly growing. We currently employ a little over 2,600 employees in the greater Gallatin Valley with 7 sites, actually 8 sites, opening here in the next few weeks, our Bozeman West location. So we are scattered throughout about, within a 100-mile radius, takes up our entire Bozeman system. So we're serving about 100,000 residents and just growing very fast. So my primary role is working with CSF and Birst Analytics, and I was actually brought on for the implementation of CSF about 2.5 years ago. So I did not use the version 10 that Bozeman Health had currently been using up until then. So it's been very interesting to learn all the ways they did things before in the manual areas they had to come up with, So now we're in the cloud system and using Birst, and it's been wonderful.
That's awesome. So you got to come in at a good time to take advantage of all the benefits and maybe not have to have lived in so much of the Excel misery of the past.
Right, yeah.
Well, can you maybe tell a little bit about some of the challenges that you think were kind of holding Bozeman back from achieving that goal of being data-driven?
Yeah, so like I mentioned, we were kind of a unique situation. We were hosted an environment with V10 by Stanford Health, which also hosts our EMR. So when we decided to pull away from them and move to version 11, that was a lot of just legacy systems and a lot of spreadsheets, and they had a lot of customized reports that were geared more so towards this bigger, huge health system, not just Bozeman Health. So, there was a lot of, hey, we used to have this report that showed us this and gave us inventory transactions, but it would show them everyone. So whittling that down took time. They would throw it in Excel spreadsheet and set parameters and filter it down. And one of those challenges is these end users aren't data scientists. They're not, they're not analysts. They're end users that just work within materials or work within finance. So there's a lot of manual Excel spreadsheet use, that no one trusted the data. It was being kind of passed back and forth. Some, Mary does it this way, but Tim does it this way kind of situations. So we just relied really heavily on Excel and just lack of resources that really knew how to build a better situation and better analytics. So we needed that one source of truth, and then COVID hit, and that really just kind of put us in, we need a rapid response right now. When CMS says they need reports, they needed it last week, and so we had to figure out how to report to local and state and federal agencies in all sorts of different ways. They all needed different reporting styles and data. They needed some uploaded, some downloaded. Did we have to create interfaces? All of those challenges right away. And so we kind of took a step back and said, Birst does all that. We don't need to do all of this. So that's kind of where we started really looking at Birst and went down that road.
Awesome. Well, maybe if you could tell us just a little bit about some of the other things that were going on in the business that made you want to look at a more modern solution. Like, what were you ultimately trying to get to? What was that desired end state?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we were growing rapidly. All of the new departments, we just built a new women's tower and a NICU, and a couple new clinical sites. So all of that was in the works before COVID hit. So they had already been talking about, how do we get something in here that's going to tell us what our supplies are, what our finances, budgeting. I mean, it touches so many areas. It touches every department. So that was already kind of in the works. And then we just hadn't fully embraced the power of Birst yet. We were using it for some auditing purposes. I get a lot of requests for outstanding POs or outstanding invoices. So we had kind of started to dive into that. But then when COVID hit, that really made a huge difference in how we were utilizing Birst. We needed to know PPE status, and we needed to know critical item right away. Where are we at on masks? Do we have enough gowns? Not just for our employees, but now for our community. We have to be able to mask everyone up as they walk through the door. So that's really kind of when we really took a look at Birst and our analytic needs a little more in depth, recognizing that this is across the board, not just because COVID hit. We need to know all of this all the time, every day.
Yeah, it's like, you can kind of deal with a certain amount of pain for so long, but then when there becomes this crisis situation, then it becomes really clear that, well, this can't work this way anymore. We've got to find a better path forward.
Right.
Can you maybe give us a little bit of an understanding of what your data and analytics ecosystem looks like there at Bozeman?
Yeah, it's all right there for us. It's all built in. I think that was kind of the kicker. We aren't having to interface different data sources. We aren't having to pull from different departments. And again, that game of Excel kind of telephone where people are entering things into spreadsheets and combining them. And, maybe someone's formula is just a hair off and it throws the whole thing out of whack. Birst provides all the analytics and the apps, and it's pulling directly from the one source of truth. So it kind of, it was so easy to set up. We pulled everything from the CSF. We run our orchestration. I had a great team of Birst folks that helped me set it up. It's just pulling directly from the data lake that way. So we know that, there's no discrepancies in what we're pulling. So it's been great to have that. Yeah.
Awesome. So maybe if you can tell us a little bit more about what made you kind of decide to go with Infor. There's a lot of different options out there. I'm sure you guys had a lot of tools already internally. What made Infor the right path for you guys?
Yeah, we had already utilized version 10 for so many years. People were familiar with it. They understood it. And users were comfortable using it. So when they decided to go on our own instance, it just made sense. It's a kind of all-in-one package. I think that, unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, I wasn't involved in the decision process. But from what I've been told, it was kind of a no-brainer. It's all-in-one package. It's ready to go. We can pull our legacy data directly from version 10. We'll have that. We don't need to pull it from any other sources. So I think, having that out of the box analytic sets and dashboards just kind of was a no-brainer for us.
Well, I know we are super excited to see what you've kind of been able to do with that. So if you wouldn't mind, we'd love to get a quick demonstration of what you built with the Infor Birst platform to get rid of that kind of legacy spreadsheet approach.
Yeah. I'll go ahead and share my screen here. So you can see here in this old Excel spreadsheet that, there's so many tabs where central supply is doing some input. The OR and same day surgery center was putting in some input. One of our locations, Big Sky, which is, about an hour away was putting in their input. And then we were sending this spreadsheet back and forth, trying to, figuring out estimated days on hand. Was everyone calculating that the same way? So you can see it was just kind of put together, and again, that kind of the discrepancies, and no one really trusted this. We didn't have that one true source. So we kind of worked on that, and then as we realized that Birst does all of this, we just started using Birst, and the spreadsheet went away, thank goodness. So, when you go into the CS or the Birst application here, you can see there's so many pre-built stock dashboards that we use all the time now. Now that people are realizing that these custom reports that they had been requesting for the last year or so are all built right within Birst. Not just the critical items that we really were focusing on, but requisitions and payables and cash management and all these different areas. So for a little demo purpose, we kind of live in the inventory world right now. And there's these really great critical item analysis with estimated days on hand. That one is currently being used the most. It actually just is always up on the big screen in the boardroom, as well as our incident command. So daily they're seeing where are we at on stock, where are we at on our critical items, what's that, what are we trending in, why are we going through so many gloves in specific departments versus elsewhere, and how do we, a big part of this was when the pandemic hit, we were really having a hard time finding where to get some of these items. They were, being just sold out, every vendor we talked to. So, then it became, okay, we have a lot of items we're receiving that aren't on contract. And we needed to be able to keep track of all of those, not just our built items, but all of our special stock as well. So this critical item analysis with estimated days on hand gives us just that snapshot of here's where we're at, here's where we were, 3 days ago. It's our 3-day prior use and our average 30-day use and our estimated days on hand. And this has been huge, especially with all the reporting that we've had to do for different agencies. So this is something that end users can come in, they can filter however they want. If they just want to look at gloves, if they just want to look at gowns, they just want to look at a specific inventory location, it's really just so user friendly, and it's pre-built and ready to go. I also have set up, for some end users that say, I don't have time to go and do that, I just want a report emailed to me. We've set up all these different notification that just zips them an email at 7 in the morning. They do their reporting at 7:30. It's done for the day. They can continue on their day. So this one has been a huge, huge help, specifically for COVID, but even so in the future, for any items, where are we at, and where's at that predictive analysis of where do you think we'll be in the next 30 days if this is what has been trending. And this critical stock on hand is another really great tool that provides just an overall where are we at on available quantity, allocated quantity, really helps the buyers, inventory managers kind of determine what do we need to be looking at, what do we need to be focusing on. So those are kind of the bigger ones that we use, but again, it has so many dashboards and so many tools that as Rod's demonstration, you can really customize it however you want, and it's so intuitive that I'm not being pulled away from my daily duties even half as much as I was before.
Well, that is awesome. And, we love to hear that. We love to see people getting immediate value right out of the gate because of that pre-built content, because of the fact that everything's kind of pre-wired and we've done a lot of the heavy lifting for you. So maybe, kind of a final question. What's this transformation meant for Bozeman Health? And, what has it meant for you kind of on a day in your life?
Yeah. We're constantly getting special requests for special reports, and again, end users aren't typically analyst savvy. They don't know how to pull maybe they know how to export it from the application itself, and that's great, and it gives them a spreadsheet that they can kind of manipulate how they need, but it's not really giving them what they're looking for. They don't know how to customize and create a report like that. So it was really pulling me away from just daily duties and also, other folks in IT. So we're just really limited on resources. So it's cut me back 15, 20 hours a week of just custom reports that I've had to build to just minutes, giving people access to Birst. They can go in there and just drag and drop, filter however they need to, and they have exactly what they're looking for within minutes.
Well, I don't think anybody would complain about getting 15 hours of their week back so that they can focus on doing things that maybe are more fun and add even more value to the health system. So, Brittany, I just want to thank you so much for joining us today and for sharing the steps that you and Bozeman have taken to kind of accelerate the adoption of analytics and really to start becoming more of a data-driven organization. We really do appreciate you being here and spending time with us today.